getting answers. From all across Northern California, this is the CBS 13 News at 10.
More wet weather making its way across Northern California. A live look at Titan HD radar right now. We'll have a look at the current conditions just ahead. But first, we have an exclusive with the mother of a 2-year-old who allegedly shot herself. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Christina Janes. The little girl is still fighting for her life, and her mother is distraught and wants answers tonight.
They wouldn't let me see my daughter. I still can't see my daughter. It's driving me crazy.
CBS 13's Sharon Rajet joining us now with more on this interview that you'll see only on CBS 13.
Christina and Tony, obviously a very heartbreaking story, shaken up so many people since it first broke. We're talking about a 2-year-old girl shot in the head. She's fighting for her life right now. I spoke with Aubrey's father and her mother tonight. The mom was actually there in that house that day, and they both are telling me they want answers.
My heart dropped. I just ran to my daughter. I found her laying on the floor, covered in blood. I just picked her up and screamed and ran outside.
An emotional Anique Davis, little 2-year-old Aubriella's mom, did not want to show her face. She says she has post-traumatic stress and hasn't been allowed to see her baby since she found her lying on the ground in an upstairs bedroom while visiting a friend in South Sacramento Monday afternoon. When you put Aubrey in that bedroom, did you see a gun?
I've never, ever seen a gun in that room, ever. I would never let my daughter play in that room if I'd ever seen a gun in that home, period.
Anique says she was in the kitchen making food. Her friend Linda was helping, and an older woman by the name of Deborah was in another upstairs bedroom. Anique says the 3 women were the only adults in that house, and she was the first to run to her daughter when she heard a gunshot. When you went to go get your baby and you see her in blood, did you see a gun?
At the moment, I wasn't thinking to look around the room at all.
But questions remain. That gun has never surfaced, raising red flags for the Sacramento Sheriff's Department and for Aubrey's father.
Somebody's not telling the truth, and my daughter's sitting here fighting for her life, and I'm feeling the same pain she is. D'Angelo
Manchin, who is no longer in a relationship with Aubrey's mom, is angry and frustrated. He feels someone is covering up what really happened.
Where is the gun at? Why is the gun missing? If my daughter was able to pick it up, then where is it?
According to the sheriff's office, there were 2 911 calls that day. One by Anique, who told the dispatcher her baby was shot, and another by someone else in that home who said the baby shot herself.
I'm angry. I'm lost. I don't know what to think right now. I just seeing my daughter like that it's tearing me up inside, and I'm trying to just stay strong for her.
Now, 2 parents searching for answers for this little girl who is fighting to stay alive.
I want to know if someone shot her, and if they did, why. And if she shot herself, why someone would hide a gun.
I just want justice for my daughter. I feel like, there's more to this story.
There sure is a lot of holes still in this story, and that's why this investigation is ongoing. The father says he hasn't been able to reach Aubrey's mother, and her neglect is not surprising to him. While Aubrey's mom, clearly torn up, says that she hasn't spoken to the other 2 women in that house since the incident and has her own questions. And meanwhile, the baby has had several surgeries, of course, and fighting to stay alive.
So many emotions in this: anger, confusion, but above all, sadness over that poor little girl. Hopefully she'll make it.
Absolutely.
Sharon, thank you. Breaking news for you tonight out of Los Angeles. We want to take you out for some live pictures. More than 100 firefighters are battling a large blaze at a commercial building. Flames are seen shooting high from the one-story facility. This is in the city's Boyle Heights area. Fire crews are already providing protection to nearby structures, and it is still unclear what caused this fire. No injuries have been reported. Well, local skiers were treated to lots of fresh powder today. This was North Star earlier today. Some areas in the Sierra could receive an additional 5 feet of snow once this storm is all over.
Having fun there. Let's talk about the rain. It was falling hard in the valley today, leaving roads pretty slippery. Here's a look at the streets of Old Sacramento tonight. And yes, we're keeping our eyes on the skies tonight as we get set for more wet weather slamming the area.
CBS 13's Lamore Abrams is live in Carmichael with the flooding concerns there. Lamore?
Well, guys, there's actually a short break in the rain right now, but just about an hour ago, I would have been standing in 3 feet of water. The people here say it is amazing how fast this creek rises and goes back down, and this weather system caught a lot of people by surprise tonight. Swollen Sacramento creeks and rivers and flooded walkways.
It is a surprise.
Cassandra and her pooch Blondie came to the neighborhood park for an evening stroll, only to find the newly built trail underwater.
I don't know how much damage it's going to do, if it's going to, uproot it.
Up in Marysville, Roger Prado was in full damage control mode, surrounding his home with sandbags from the back fence.
Saturday it was up to the fence.
Up to the front bedroom.
We had that much water in the bedroom.
Old pipes overflowing with water with nowhere to go.
I've had my eye on this house for like 20 years, and we finally got it, but it's the one that always floods.
The playground gets a good flooding when we get heavy rains, and all the bark floods as well.
Jeff Alberg knows all about flooding. Over the weekend, he was doing report cards in his classroom at Johnson Park Elementary School when he realized he better pay attention to the Oliver's weather report.
It got bad enough to where I decided it was time to get in my car and get out of here before I was stuck here overnight.
Back in Carmichael, Cassandra decided to cut her walk short.
But maybe it's backed up all the way.
But we did find somebody who is enjoying the high water. And tonight, officials tell us they're also monitoring the American River. They say that is expected to flood in the coming days with more heavy rain still to come.
At least you're getting a break right now. Lamore Abrams live in Carmichael. Lamore,
Yes.
thanks. This blast of El Nino is pummeling the North Bay and other parts of the Bay Area tonight. Check this out. More heavy rain on its way. Some people are now moving to higher grounds. Flash flood warnings were issued for parts of Sonoma County and the Russian River by Guerneville. It's a place that usually floods when we get a lot of rain. The river is expected to rise as much as 4 feet over the 32-foot flood stage by late Friday, so late tomorrow. The severe weather has prompted some school closures in Sonoma County on Friday. ACE train number 6 is back on schedule tonight. The Stockton-bound train was delayed in Fremont because of a track inspector was running in front of it. We're told this is standard procedure when there is flash flood warnings. This delay comes just 3 days after ACE train number 10 derailed and tumbled into the Alameda Creek.
Let's get to Dave now in the Weather Center with a look at where this storm is headed tonight. Dave?
Well, at this point, it's kind of winding down to the east and being a little more active to the north and to the west. So let's hop on into the weather computer here and show you what we've got going on. We've seen some rainfall rates with this in excess of 1 inch per hour with this particular area of storminess and some lightning strikes with this. And what's unusual, or not unusual, but what's kind of different about this system is we've hardly seen anything in the northern San Joaquin Valley. Tomorrow you will get some rain, but at this point the focus has been right up the I-80 corridor. And again, we've got this heavier rain right here, and it's staying off to the west over near Davis, off toward Dixon here. And it looks like it's going to continue on up into the Yuba City area where we saw a lot of rain, and already we've seen over 1 inch of rain up there. In the higher elevations, it's still rain coming down up there on into the foothills. So here's a look at some of your numbers. Fairfield, as of tonight, just right before the show, 0.55. Sacramento 0.64, over 1 inch up in Marysville, and 1.95 around Quincy. Now, some other things for you. We, of course, have the flood watch. That carries all the way through Sunday for the areas that you see there in green. And again, we are talking about a warm system out there, and that means snow levels are pretty high. And at this point, hardly any snow is flying around right now, but we will get some more in here when we bring the colder air in with these lows that are offshore. And once these guys come in, that'll lower our snow levels down. And that's why starting toward the end of the day on Saturday all the way through Monday, we've got a winter storm watch. And what can we expect? Well, how about upwards of maybe 4 feet of snow at the higher elevations? For the valley, still some rain and thunderstorm activity all the way through the weekend in the foothills. Just get ready for heavy rain. It's going to be a long slog until we get this done, and we'll have to wait to the early part of next week to do that. Christina?
All right, Dave, we'll see you in a bit. Thank you. Now for the latest conditions and to sign up for breaking news alerts, you can always go to our website, cbs13.com.
Talk politics now. Republican presidential candidates faced off in their 12th debate tonight. It was supposed to be a more serious discussion. There's a lot at stake, as you know, as they head toward several primaries next week. CBS 13's Marley Hall has more from Miami.
I cannot believe how civil it's been up here. Thursday night's Republican debate delivered on its promise to be a kinder, gentler discussion of the issues. Before a packed Miami auditorium, immigration was a hot topic. Senator Marco Rubio spoke out against the H-1B visa program that some companies use to hire foreign workers.
If a company is caught abusing that process, they should never be allowed to use it again.
Frontrunner Donald Trump, who admitted using the visa law, agreed.
Well, I'm a businessman and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad.
When Trump accused Ted Cruz of flip-flopping on support for ethanol, Cruz responded.
If you have a candidate who has been funding liberal Democrats and funding the Washington establishment, it's very hard to imagine how suddenly this candidate is going to take on Washington.
Trump defended his earlier comments that Islam hates America.
You can be politically correct if you want. I don't want to be so politically correct.
Rubio said that's not the way to defeat radical Islamic terrorists.
You can be correct without needing to be politically correct. We are going to have to work with people in the Muslim faith.
Ohio Governor John Kasich made his case on economic issues by touting his successes in his home state.
When I went to Ohio, we were $8 billion in the hole, and now we're $2 billion in the black. Our credit is strong. We're up 400,000 jobs.
Tuesday's primaries include the winner-take-all states of Ohio and Florida.
So fairly civil tonight, huh? Donald Trump currently has a 100-delegate lead over second-place Ted Cruz.
President Obama and the First Lady hosted the Canadian Prime Minister at the White House for a state dinner tonight. It is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's first visit to the White House and the first official visit by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly 20 years. Canada is, of course, the United States' largest trading partner, with more than $2 billion worth of goods and services crossing the border each and every day. The public paying their final respects today to former First Lady Nancy Reagan. Thousands have passed through the Presidential Library to say goodbye before her funeral tomorrow. Her casket has been placed on a pedestal there in the lobby, covered with her favorite flowers. Many who visited say she was an inspiration to them.
Her classiness, her love for her husband, astounding.
California Governor Jerry Brown is expected to be among the 1,000 guests for tomorrow's private funeral.
We're just getting started here. All new at 10, being paid to spend time with your kids. One lawmaker's push to help parents earn paid leave for school activities.
Charity changes how a lengthy investigation led to a big shakeup in the Wounded Warrior Project.
And jamming the signal, complaints of dropped calls lead to an arrest on a commuter train, while the suspect says he purposely jammed cell phone calls. We're back in 60 seconds.